Hello and welcome. Answering your financial questions live, number 81. Just waiting to see. There we go. And we do have audio, so all is good in the world. Let's check one more thing. Alrighty, let's go. I do this every Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And I answer questions from reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. This is the Dave Ramsey subreddit, so you would think people would be asking for the Dave advice or wouldn't be surprised to hear the Dave advice on here, but some people don't want the Dave advice on here. Some people want to be told that what their plan is that's different from Dave's is a different one. But generally, always, baby steps. Best way to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Fastest way. All right, where did we leave off at? I did budget for major/temporary raise, and the answer to that was if it's going to be temporary, you don't budget for it at all, and then when it comes in, you distribute it to whatever baby step or steps you're on. And the only time you would be in steps is if you would be doing 4, 5, and 6, which you do all at the same time, and 1, 2, and 3 are in order, one at a time, and a lot of people don't understand that for some reason. And granted, it doesn't say it on these or on the Ramsey Solutions. Let's get that up. There we go. Products, baby steps. There it is, right there, and that doesn't cost any money to pull that list up. But so granted, it doesn't say in order, one at a time. It does not say that here. But it never even occurred to me ever to think, oh, well, I should also be investing while I'm saving my starter emergency fund. That never occurred to me. Let's see. Dreaming in Science. Right. Student loan 401k match. Good idea. Your student loan is going to match for you? I don't know what's going on here. Or just trying to keep the loan and not pay it off and then do the investing. That's probably the deal. Background, my employer will match my 401k contributions up to 12%, and I'm currently contributing 8%, about 140 of each paycheck. My current student loan payments are $103 a month. Minimum is like $40, but I pay more. And the balance is $4,720. Currently, my student loan is the largest debt, and while I'm trying to follow the debt snowball, well, you do or do not, there is no try. I pay a little more towards this, so I'm not just paying interest every month. Today I learned about the student loan payment 401k match that my employer offers. Oh, so in addition to the regular match. Interesting. From my understanding, and you definitely want to get the right understanding on this, let's see what it is. From my understanding, they will match up to their limit, 12%, both my 401k contribution and any student loan payment I make for the year. Is that their limit for both? So maybe it's, okay, so up to 12%. So they're only doing 12% regardless of how much of that 12% you put it towards the 401k and how much you put towards student loan is what I'm guessing. So what you would do is the baby steps. So if you scroll right here, baby step 2, pay off debts from smallest to largest using debt snowball method. Oh, and if you feel like it, go ahead and be investing too. No, it doesn't say that there, and so you would not do that at all. So you would be paying off the debt, and but also you don't pay as much as you can, so you get advantage of that match. You would still do smallest to largest. So everybody wants to finesse it and do it the way that they want to do it, but that would not be the advice from Mr. Ramsey. Let's see. Instead of them matching each paycheck like they have been, I won't receive any of the matching contribution until the end of the year if I sign up for this. And if I'm terminated or leave before the year ends, it's possible I won't receive any of their matching contributions. I would say better than a possibility. I would say, yeah, that wouldn't happen if you're terminated or leave. I'm not super financially savvy, but I'm trying to make smart choices as I turn 30 this year based on the information provided and any knowledge on this you might have yourself. Should I be taking advantage of this benefit, or should I just continue as is with my guaranteed 8% match each paycheck? Sorry if this sounds ignorant. I normally go to my dad for this, but I lost him this past year. I feel sort of lost without his guidance. Condolences on that, sir. Yeah, so you see the baby steps as they're written right there. This is the smartest thing you can do. This has millions of documented success stories. And so this is going to be the most proven advice that you would get from any financial person. And it says pay off all debts from smallest to largest using debt snowball method. That is, again, smallest to largest. And so that means you would only be paying minimums on the student loan. So, you're trying to out-math it, but if you were doing math, you wouldn't have taken out a loan in the first place. Yep, and so no match. You're supposed to stop retirement contributions, any type of investing or saving. You stop that all, except for the $1,000 in your emergency fund, baby emergency fund, step 1, and while you're paying off debt. So no, you would not do that if you would like to follow Mr. Ramsey's advice. TJH Dexter, stopping pension payments. All right, and that's what you do that as well. Some employers you can't do that. Like if you are a teacher and those in a public school, you cannot stop investing for retirement and doing their pension plan. So you can't stop that. So they make you, and so nothing you can do about that. But if you have the option, yeah, you're supposed to stop while you do baby step 2 and pay off your debt. Do that instead, and then later on you'll be able to invest more. Does everyone stop their pension payment through their job whilst in baby step 2? They should if they have the option to do it. On the face of it, seems silly to do so, to lose out on the tax incentives, but I can also see the benefits. Right, you get your dumb debt paid off faster. As it will accelerate my debt-free date by 2 to 3 months. Yep. Is there a max amount of time recommended to stop payments, or just until debt is paid off? Until debt is paid off and you have your full emergency fund. You see how they put the investing right here in baby step 4. Step 3 comes before that as well. So you would also have 3 to 6 months of expenses in a full emergency fund, and then that's when you start up investing again if you had already started. But yeah, steps 1, 2, and 3, you are not investing if you are following Dave's advice. Respect the community. Okay, I don't know what that was all about. Let's see. Overture 8. How to replicate Dave's mutual funds using Vanguard UK ETFs. Okay. And I mean, that's not replicating them. You know why? Because managed mutual funds can beat these indexes. And so that's why you wouldn't do that. You're leaving money on the table by doing that. Granted, any index fund you invest in, hopefully it's making enough that it's better than nothing. Hopefully it's not losing money every year. But it's better than nothing, but you are leaving money on the table by not doing managed funds. And a bunch of people think that, oh, well, because the managed funds cost more in expense ratio. Yeah, my expense ratio difference between an index fund and a managed fund that beat it by 7% last year is 0.3%. I think I can cover the difference. So, you know, the way they talk about it, they think, oh, it's 5% more to have a managed fund. And that is false. So you're doing it wrong. So you're not replicating it. This is a instead of. And so it's not replicating at all. Just because it's in the same... and I don't know why they would do just 12.5% in large cap and then dividend growth instead of just 25% in something. I don't know. Don't get that. But in the small cap. And so basically what his advice are, he does call them something different. He calls them, aggressive growth, and that's small cap. International is international, of course, and I always forget the ones. It's growth and income are the mid cap and large cap, but it's large, mid, small cap, and international are what he recommends. He just calls them different names, which I think may have been a thing back in the day when he's not that much older than I am, but he was certainly investing. Way sooner than I was. Single surround 5457. What to do with crypto, profit, mortgage payoff, invest more. You would apply any money that comes in, any extra money that comes in to whatever baby step you're on. Let's see what baby step this person is on. Let's go ahead and expand the article. It's War and Peace here. No, not that long, but still. I might skim it. Let's see. Wife and I are late 30s with children ranging from 13 to 4. We have a household income of $65,000 and a budget that is pretty much break even with investing included. And that's why you're not supposed to do investing if you have debt. Let's see, managed to turn 10K in crypto into 200K on 2 occasions now. Yes, you can do that if you sell it before they halve it. HALVE, meaning cutting it in half. It's a planned crash. Crypto bros are crazy, yo. The last time I cashed out 200K and we used that to invest aggressively, bolster our bank account, and took care of some other things like a new roof. You know, all that is good on the surface. But it depends if you are debt leveraging by having debt while you're doing all that. Started with 10K in crypto last year, turned out to 200K again. I'm deciding what to do with the profit this time. I do intend to leave 40 to 50K in crypto, which I understand goes against what Ramsey says. It absolutely does, because he doesn't recommend that. But I see it as a free roll gamble that I'm comfortable taking. It's your money. You get to do what you want. So, I mean, why ask then? This 10 to 15% of my retirement balance, if you include the crypto, I plan to leave. We have 300K in retirement, bank 80K. 6 months expenses about 25. So you're saving more than you should be. That should be paid off on the house. Yeah, all that goes to the house. I mean, you can address kid college, that 13-year-old going to college in 5 years. So you can address that. Baby step 5. Let's pull those up here. There we are. Baby step 5, save for your kids' college. So, and you're already investing. You should be just investing 15% while that house mortgage is still there. Currently 15%, including extra a few hundred per month from company match, right? That's gravy on the biscuit. We already invest monthly into 529 plans, which is projected to get us to our goal amount per kid. Okay, so that's addressed. So you would be paying that house off. I'm looking for comments, ideas on the best way to handle what is basically a 200K windfall. The house is paid off. Today, do it today. Some ideas, pay off mortgage immediately. Yes, see, you know the advice. People know the advice. The advice is too simple to not understand. They know the advice. Keep this and do debt leverage? Nope. Invest more, making minimum payment on mortgage? No, that's debt leverage. Invest more and start throwing extra principal payments on the mortgage? No, because that's still debt leverage. Something else? No, what you said the first. Pay off mortgage immediately, because you know the answer, sir. So you already knew it. And most people, I find, often do. Hungry Corgi, 7031, 29-year-old man. What up, Shub? I am excellent. And yourself? Sorry I missed you. That was 15 minutes ago. I apologize. I do need to look at I need to get actually a small monitor and put it right there so I can see it at the same time, instead of having to look all the way back over there to where the chat is on the big TV. So I will endeavor to do that. Get like a nice cheap monitor. 29-year-old man. I finally feel like I made it. No, I didn't win the lotto. Lotto has 2 T's in it. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. First time posting in this subreddit. My goal is for you all to guide me with suggestions, all right? Back up my current plan, or bring me down to earth. Here is some backstory. I started going into debt while in university. We call that college here in the United States, although I think the kids are starting to call it, because the kids always want to be like the Europeans and call it everything that they call it. Upon graduating 2018, I had about 50K student loan debt and 20K credit card debt. As someone who has had a job since they were 13 years old, I felt confident that I could quickly pay down the debt I accumulated, especially after upskilling in uni with BBA, Bachelor of the Arts. Maybe they call it something different there with the 2 B's. In finance, this was far from the truth because, frankly, life is crazy expensive and new grads do not make a lot of money, and I had no real plan in place. Where's this person? Calls it uni and university instead of college, but might be an American, maybe, doesn't say. All right. Once I graduated, I started working as a sales professional. My career has been mostly with technology companies. IES. Did you graduate college? I have finally found a role where I am making enough money to crawl out from debt and save, okay? Well, you can do that at any time. You just have to be spending less than you are making. For simplicity's sake, let's leave commission out of the budget because it will all just go towards saving accelerated payments on debt. All right. Salary, $90K a year. My girlfriend contributes $500 a month toward this budget split based on our income. So effectively, I have $5,700 into my account every month. So you shouldn't be living with or combining income finances with girlfriend. You should wait until you have a wife to do that. Rent $750. Move to a super small town. That is approved, and that can help with if you don't make that much money. But I mean, 90. Should be enough. Phone, $80. You could get that down. Example, Met Mobile is like $25 a month. Insurance, maybe some of that's financing the phone as well, though. Insurance, $160. Car payment, $480. Okay, we're baby step 2, so we know we got other debt than just the student loans. $550, yeah, $500 almost car payment, and $550 student loans, and then food, $560 per month. That, let's see, if it's two people, that probably is excessive, a little bit excessive. You could cut that down. Other $640 usually ends up being spent mostly on food, to be honest. Groceries are crazy expensive. No, you're just buying too much. And buying expensive stuff as well. So, you know, you're not budgeting. This leaves me with about, not trying to cut things in the budget at any rate. Maybe you are, by writing it down, you are budgeting technically, but you're not trying to cut anything. This leaves me about $24.80 at the end of the month. So, and that should all go to your debt, my friend. Using this budget over the last 8 months, I have been able to completely pay off my $20,000 credit card. Excellent. Here's a snapshot of my current debt and savings. $22,000 car loan, $480 payment. $25,000 in student loan, $550 payment. Savings account, $3,000, and so that's not how that works. You're supposed to do $1,000 as baby step 1, emergency fund, and then all the rest of it goes to your debt. RRSP and TFSA, I believe that is England. I think, is it? Let's verify. TFSA. So many, darn it. All right, Florist Association. TFSA. You gotta spell it correctly. TFSA. There we go. Tax-free savings account in Canada 8. Okay, so it's Canada, so that's why. Europe Light up there. So okay, Canada. So that's why they call it uni and university. Here are a few things I would like validation on. I will not promise you that, sir. If you have other things you would like to comment, please feel welcome to do so. Absolutely. Pretty paranoid about finding work in this economy, and a salesperson only has job security 3 months at a time. Really? Stores are open all year round. So, I mean, you do have to be able to sell. So if that's not the job for you, maybe get a different job. What did you get your degree in? What was that degree in? In finance. So why aren't you doing something with finance? Because of this, I would like to continue just paying minimums on the 2 debts until I have additional $20,000 invested in the Canadian banks. Okay, so again, you just want to do what you want to do. You want validation on not doing the baby steps. And no, not going to give it to you. Sorry. So you're doing it wrong. I would like to sell my car and buy a cheap one. Okay, that's approved. I only bought it as it was required for a job I have since left. Well, that was pretty dumb. I work from home now and do not drive often. My area, I can buy a vehicle. How does work from home translate to a salesperson only having security 3 months at a time? Or are you saying that's how much they review you every 3 months, and if your sales aren't good, they can you? Okay, that could be a thing. My area can buy a vehicle I would be happy driving. It doesn't matter if you would be happy driving it, but for $3,000. So that's fine. However, I owe $22K on the car and I think it's only worth around 18. Yeah, you screwed up. That's called stupid tax. So yes, sell it. Absolutely, sell it and get a junk car. How does one go about selling a car they owe money on? Okay, well, Dave Ramsey is fine with you getting a 5 to 7 if you want to include the $3,000 car that you want to buy. $7,000 loan, he's fine with you getting a $7,000 loan because it will get rid of the $22,000 loan. And so that effectively pays off 15K of your debt. Let's see, if I'm under by like 4,000 or 5,000, I can absolutely come up with the cash to pay off the remainder of the loan. You can. How? Do I do this through a dealership? That's going to be, dealership's going to take their cut if you do that. And then you also don't get as good a deal buying the $3,000 car either because they're going to, again, take a cut on anything they're involved with. So private sale would be the way to go, buying and selling. I definitely would not want to buy my next car from a dealership, and that's a good, I will validate that part. My car is a 2018 Toyota RAV4 with 94,000 kilometers on the odometer. All right, so I mean, you have, that's a good inclination to do that, and that is what Dave recommends. But stringing these along while you get stuff into Canadian bank stock, that's not going to be what Dave would recommend either. Those don't make as much. You're losing money out on that. Those don't make as much as the categories he recommends in. And you're not supposed to do single stocks anyway. So a lot of stuff you are doing wrong. So you make up your mind if you want to follow Dave's advice or just, you don't need validation for doing your own thing. You can just do it. You have something Bachelor of the Arts in Finance. I'm assuming that means Bachelor of Arts in Canada. But, I mean, should be able to use your finance degree to perhaps get a different job other than sales, selling financial products maybe, and that may be exactly what he is doing. And by talking about bank stocks, maybe he is working at a bank and selling their financial products. It could be. But yeah, so no validation for me. Maybe one of the 6 people that commented and gave this Canadian some validation. Oh, let's see. JDK0606. It's a great feeling. I've got a feeling. In the past 30 days, I've gotten in the mindset of paying down debt. That's excellent. I have a nice chunk of cash saved beyond emergency funds. I was able to pay off all credit cards and put $10,000 toward principal of my car loan. If you feel comfortable with your savings amount, throw any that you can towards debt. You'll be happy you did. It's a huge sense of relief. Yes, if you have any, it should be all of it except for $1,000. See, that's what it says right here on the baby steps. Baby step 1, $1,000. Doesn't say, oh, and keep extra until you feel comfortable. Doesn't say that. Doesn't say that. Some enthusiasm _ 6017. Sell or keep investment property. Hi all. Hi guys. We're unsure what to do with an investment property and thought Reddit to the rescue. All right. Well, I don't know if I would think of it like that. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to get other people's opinion, but just some random person on the internet, as opposed, I understand, like if you were to perhaps go to RamseySolutions.com and they are a trusted source and known, and that's their business, and they have millions of documented success stories following their advice, and so that would be a good idea. And that's why I am on here giving that same advice. Let's see. Thought Reddit to rescue. We have an investment property an hour from us that we could sell and net 200K. Yeah, do it. Its mortgage is our only debt, and we plan to pay it off in 3 years. You could put that in baby step 2 and pay it off faster than 3 years. 5 years, we plan to move out of state and don't know what to do with the property. Go ahead and sell it now. Why wait? Why wait? We'll need to sell it at that point for sure. Yeah, why wait? We've had a family member stay in it and rent free as they got back on their feet after a divorce. They're leaving now, and we don't know if it makes sense to rent or sell. I mean, investment property is a pain. Being a landlord is a pain. And so, and if you pay somebody else to take care of the pain parts, then you don't end up making that much money because you have to pay that person as well. If we rent, we can net $600 a month in profit unless you need to replace the roof. Right? Am I right? I'm right. And pay the home off a year faster. And maybe in 5 years it will be worth more when we sell then. It could be. It may not. But generally it would be, at least a little bit, be worth more in 5 years. But I mean, it's just not worth it to me. Netting $600 a month, and how much is their, doesn't say how much their mortgage is on it. But $600 a month, and that's all gone if you have to put on a roof. That's all gone. So baby step 6 flare there. So paying off, I wonder if they're counting this mortgage or their house mortgage. If you have a resident you're also paying a mortgage on, yes, you sell this investment property immediately and put all that money into your residential mortgage. Should I sell Net Echo 3889? I will try to keep this simple, thank you. I bought a duplex pre-Ramsey at great price rate. Pays for itself, live on top, rent out bottom. I'm moving to a new city, hour and a half away, and then you can't run it then. Right, problem is I'm self-employed and show little income. I do not have a large nest egg as I'm finishing baby step 2. Yes, you should sell the duplex. I could sell, cash in 100 plus equity and have the groundwork for a fresh start. Yes, but I lose the asset. It's not an asset if it's an hour and a half away. I could do some more conventional options to keep the asset as an STR by accessing equity and leverage that debt. I know what Dave would say. Yes, you do. And I think he would tell me to sell it. Yeah, I just have so much. I just want to do it so much. Let's just have so much trouble letting a house that's doubled in value in 5 years, that cash flows several K a month. Yeah, it does, again, until you need a roof for it, and then it doesn't. And you can't manage it yourself from an hour and a half away. Or it's much, much harder to do that from an hour and a half away. And so then you got to pay somebody else to do that. And so, I've heard you get the people on the Reddit and that come into Ramsey chat and they're like, oh, you never sell real estate. Always keep that access. That is bull crap. You don't. When it's too much trouble, when it's too much risk, you do sell it, and that's why you're not supposed to have a mortgage on a rental property anyway. So that would be doing it wrong. So yes, you would sell it. Especially because you have other debt otherwise, and so yeah, you would sell it. Nave alive. So if you didn't have other debt, there, you could make that be your baby step 2 and just pay that off in 2 or 3 years and fine. But since you have other debt, no. Want to leave side hustle? Do it. Get a different side hustle if you need to make more money. I've been the part-time worship leader at a church for over 4 years. My wife and I are both teachers and are both working through baby step 2. Oh, and are working. Okay, not both. Which they are doing it both together, I guess. Our net pay is about $6,000 a month from teaching. I make $1,000 a month from this part-time job. On one hand, the amount of time I have to work at this job is fairly minimal, but the church we are at has been changing, and my wife and I no longer view it as a community we want to be a part of due to some differences, okay? I'm more than worried about losing 1/7 of our income. We find a different part-time job. We have about $80,000 in debt, not counting our house. That's a lot. Student loans, 1 car left to pay off, 3 credit cards, and a service loan for our HVAC. I am in this gazelle intensity mode right now, but also incredibly burnt out with this second job. Would it be better to find something else or do some Uber Eats instead to save some sanity? Yeah, you can do that. You might also be exaggerating. I don't know. I'm not in the situation, but a lot of times people do tend to exaggerate about when they say, oh, it's a toxic workplace, when they just don't like something about it. That doesn't mean it's toxic. Alrighty. Pristine Bat 8879. Should I move out? 23, living with my parents, making $93,000 with no debt. Excellent. I have $47K in cash and liquid access saved up. Yeah, at 23, yes, that would be the Ramsey advice. Mr. Ramsey does like adults to live on their own and not with parents. My 401k match and Roth IRA matched every year. I have about $75,000 saved in retirement alone. Should I move out as soon as possible? Yes. Get an apartment or wait to build up a large down payment? No, go out and get an apartment. Get used to living in the world by yourself before you immediately go from parents' house to mortgage. Get yourself some time in there to at least a year of renting. And while you're renting, you can save, build up a large down payment. Housing market still seems like it's a bubble, but I could get a home in my area for about $350,000. So you're not going to afford that. That's 93 and 93. That's 186 and 45. That's 225. So you're going to need a lot. You're going to need $125,000 to get the $350,000 home. You know, $125,000 down payment. My goal has been always to jump straight into home ownership and never rent. Not advised, because you have no idea about any of that stuff. You have no idea about living outside of your parents' house, and you should be renting while you learn some things about that. And so would not recommend on that. But yeah, moving out, yes. Buying a house right away, no. And you only have $75,000. Oh no, that's in retirement alone. What is the $47,000 in cash? Some of that has to be your emergency fund. So first you need a 6-month emergency fund before you even start saving for down payment. I know it says 3 to 6, but if you're going to be a homeowner, because of said roofs breaking and so forth, you need a 6-month emergency fund if you're going to be a homeowner. Tight medium, 1947, a weight off your shoulders. If you find it difficult to drain your savings and pay off debt, I'm in the same boat. 2 boats. I currently have $31,000 in federal student loans left, but in the last month I've been able to pay off $7,000, all of my private student loans. The rest of my car, $1,000 roughly, and some lingering 0% interest credit cards, $2,000 roughly. I used to buy some appliances about 6 months ago. I used The credit cards were used to buy appliances about 6 months ago. I got it. My monthly debt payments have dropped. Monthly debt payments has dropped by $800. While it sucks seeing the number in your bank account go down, the relief you feel is almost addicting. If you're contemplating or holding off on paying, yeah, you do that. That's the baby steps. That's what it says. It does not say keep cash around. It says save $1,000 as fast as possible. And so if you have more than that $1,000, you immediately put that rest of that, apply that to your baby step 2 snowball. And you would start paying off stuff from smallest to largest. Absolutely. Elegant Being 3109. I think a frequent poster. I've seen that before, I believe. Would you buy the motorcycle? Me personally, no. Context, I'm 27 female. My boyfriend is 32 man. I have $40K in student loans. He has his license on a motorcycle. I've always dreamed of having my own motorcycle, but currently don't own one. No, you got $40K in student loans. No, it's not time to do that. Nor do I have my license. With my current income and expenses, it will take me about 7 years minimum to pay off the debt. Raise your income, lower your expenses, and pay it off quicker than that. I recently received a bonus of $6K. My heart wants to spend the money on a motorcycle and my license. I can ride with my boyfriend and live out that dream. I do not know if I can deal with waiting until I'm 34 plus to do this. Exaggerating. If you up your income and lower your expenses, you can pay it off in lower than 7 years. As it feels like something I want to do while still being young, all right, I mean, you're 27. You had time to take out the loans. You didn't want to be young without debt before that, and be free and such before that. And so you're just adding a lot of drama to it that is really not there, manufactured drama. And so I'm sure you want to do it. We all want to do stuff we can't do. My PF throwaway 2, what would you do? I was visiting my dad the other day and he told me that he needed to give me some bonds that my great-grandpa bought me as a child to fund my education. All right, I, 36 man, paid my own way through college and a master's, so I didn't need to use them, he said. Okay, so I'll just hang on to them. I remember getting a $50 bond when I was a kid, so I figured I was going to get a few $100 in old bonds that my dad had stashed. The face value on the EE bonds is a little under $50K, and they're all around 30 years old. So just from preliminary global, I'm looking at about $110K cash value. If you were in my steps and it says, what would Dave do? What would Dave do? Flare right there. Well, then you know the answer, right, everybody? Say it with me. You apply the money to whatever baby step you're on, which is not the motorcycle one, because there is no motorcycle. Get a motorcycle. And if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Cash them all out and deal with the tax implications later. No, you could cash them out and save the money for the tax implications. Cash them out over time to minimize the taxes. No, you should have all that money now because you can do whatever you want with that money, including even if it's investing, and then you're making some of that taxes back by doing that. I'm going to talk to a financial planner about it as well, but I'm curious to see what Reddit has to say. A financial planner might say, oh, you need whole life insurance for that. My current financial picture, married, 4 kids under 10, maybe some baby step 5 happening there then with 4 kids. One of which is going to be going to college in 8 years. All have about $15K in college savings invested in VIU. Retirement balance 145 across a Roth, traditional rollover, and 401K. Most in the Roth, saving $50K across a few sinking funds. Okay. in addition to or including emergency fund. Annual income $135K. Mortgage balance $255. No other consumer debt. Okay, so if there's none, there's just the, I mean, you'd be doing 4, 5, and 6 if you're already doing 15%. You could put a little bit more toward kid college. To see, I'll have about 15K in college, so the 15K, you might want to up that for the 10-year-old or the 9-year-old maybe. And so, because that's 9 years actually then, and that child will be in college in 9 years, so you might want to kick that one up a little bit, but otherwise you would pay that mortgage off. And guess what? You don't need a financial advisor for that, a financial planner for that, because Dave has already figured out that for you in the form of the baby steps. How about that? Finally, credit debt free. My wife and I finally have no more credit card, car payments, excellent. Only a mortgage. We have at least a 4-month emergency fund. All right, hopefully you didn't have that while you still had the debt. Slowly adding to it, okay? And our 401ks are at 15%, okay? We have no kids. How sweet it is to know all of our income, well, most with mortgage, right, is yours to keep. Yep. And well, theoretically, if you want to look at it in the best light, the mortgage is on a house that should be appreciating, so at least you're getting that in exchange for your mortgage payment. So you can look at the glass half full on that. Yes, we sold our house and relocated to another state for another job, which contributed to finalizing all of our payoffs. But we did it. Yep. When you do something like that, there is the danger that you didn't have to suffer for it because you found a quick fix for it. But as long as you did the right things, not going back into debt, except for the mortgage and the new mortgage, and hopefully that will sit with you the same way as if you had to sacrifice to pay it, rather than it just worked out that you happened to have the money and then you didn't buy as much of a house, apparently. But my wife and I have always had payments and talk about a burden being lifted. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that, my friends, what is it? And that's what gives financial peace. That's what gives financial peace. How about if we take a mid-roll here and go to, is that what no, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/coachstevemoney. For scroll down a little bit here, you can find my financial content here, answering your financial questions with Ramsey Solutions Certified Coach Steve Money. That's me. And after the music playlist, there's Ramsey Show After Show, and both of those are financial shows. And the next Ramsey Show After Show will be Thursday, April 18th. And that's approximately 6 p.m. right after the Ramsey Show video on YouTube ends. And in between those, as I said, is this music playlist. And that's what gives financial peace, is one of the Ramsey adjacent songs that are in there. So give any and all of those a listen if you are so inclined. And that, of course, from That's What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction. Let's give mid-roll plugs here as well. If I can find it. There it is. Alrighty, yes, Ramsey Solutions, certified financial coach, Coach Steve Money here. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere in the whole wide world. You can email me about coaching or anything on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can have me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively to Cash App, $Coach Steve Money. Or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And youtube.com/Coach Steve Money is the channel you're watching this on. Thank you so much for doing so. Please subscribe, like, and comment. All right, back to the questions. LOL Phallus. THALY, Phallus. I don't know what that is. Sell stocks for down payment or no? Yeah, Dave, whatever you sell single stocks, regardless, as long as they're not in a retirement account. Because then there's not only going to be taxes on the growth, but there's going to be penalties. Hello, I've been thinking about moving out of my parents' house to buy a house this summer again. Why the rush? Why the rush? Rent for a year. You figure out if you want to live in a certain area. You learn how to deal with life when your parents aren't handling as much as they're handling now. And so that's just the way that I would do it. Because to jump right into it might not be a good idea. Because you never know. You never know. You may have a hard time dealing with you having to take care of all of the housing stuff, all of the expenses, all that stuff. Whereas your parents are doing most of that now, and you're just moseying in there, and maybe you contribute a little bit towards groceries or something like that. Who knows? But definitely I would rent for a year before just going straight from living with parents to a house mortgage. Debating whether I should sell my stocks for a larger down payment or just hold on to it. These stocks are from my brokerage account, not retirement. Okay, so yeah, Dave would tell you to sell those anyway, and you apply them to whatever baby step you're on. Stats about me and my finances below. Age, let's go ahead and open the rest of it. 27 years old, still a baby. That's a long time to be living with parents though, dog. No debt, great. Total savings, $115K in the bank. All right, and so that would be your emergency fund plus. So you could divide that into emergency fund and house down payment fund eventually, and also move out fund. First deposit on apartment, that kind of thing as well. Total balance in stock, $65K. Rate of returns, doesn't matter. Because Dave advised you to get rid of those anyway. And then once you would be investing again, you would do managed mutual funds in retirement. Home price ranges I'm looking into is $300K or less with a 15-year mortgage. Thought process: if I sell the stocks, I can either do get a potentially nicer house within my budget, or I could reduce monthly costs with a higher down payment on a cheaper house. Yep, but the house may not be as nice. True, the conflict I have is if I sell my stocks, I may miss out on potential gains and could use that gains later in my life. That's true. So you gotta decide when you want to use that money. But regardless, the single stocks. Unless you're making way over the S&P 500 index with those single stocks, then you should at least switch to that as far as saving it for a purchase. if you're not making as much as the S&P 500 is every year annually. And I am looking to see what we don't see the income, and I'm going to need the income before we say that you can settle. You can live in a $300,000 house. Let's see and see how much the down payment would need to be. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see if the person says how much income. This is way more comments than I thought there would be. That's my bad for not looking at that first. You think he would recommend a higher down payment to keep the house cost low? Of course he would. Yes. As low as possible, as long as it ends up being within a 15, yeah. So again, he didn't say, but people were trying to get there to his income has to be enough to be able to afford that payment on a 15, which often does mean a larger down payment. All right, common middle 2852, cosmetic car damage. It's just cosmetic. My husband and I are on baby steps 4 and 6. We are on track to pay off our house in 4.5 years. We don't have anyone to impress and intend to drive our cars into the ground. A 20-year-old kid backed into my car and dented the fender pretty badly. The police didn't take a report because the damage was truly minor, but it was a fairly unforgivable hit. I was honking and sort of slow motion in disbelief that the kid kept backing up. There was enough time that my husband outside the car heard the honking, turned around and tried to get his attention to stop. Car is a 2016 with 80,000. What would Dave do? Let's see. Dave likes cars more than I do, so he may care about it more, but 2016 with 80K miles, paid off naturally. Private party value for the very good condition it was in prior is 73.28. The good is now 38.69. Just cosmetic and doesn't impact the drive at all. Screw it then. It has crossed my mind to just be merciful and drop it, but I don't want to just drop the matter because it was a pretty careless hit on his part and definitely impacts the look and value of the car. Sure. But if there's no police report on it, you pursuing that, who knows where that would go. The fact that there's no police report is an issue. And the cost to repair it is more than I'm willing to eat, right? Of all things I could subsidize repair money, it pays me to make it 21-year-old. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it goes. So you can't, let's see. The kid's dad asked that we handle this self-pay, and I'm happy to do that. But because of how much of my car needs to be taken apart to replace this dinky $200 part, a reputable body shop in town is saying the work will be $2,500. Yeah, for something cosmetic? No, not doing that. I know we like to have nice things, but I have a feeling they'll say they want to file a claim after all. That they want to? The body shop? The shop also said that because it's on a contour, plunging the dent out will just give me an Audi that is probably worse than the dent. Yeah, it could be. So it doesn't seem like there's a middle ground repair. That would get it 80% better. Way. All right. Whether the kid's family pays or insurance pays, I'm debating just taking the check and putting it into my house payoff or investing for a new car fund. Yep. Part of this is the struggle between being frugal and splashing out for nicer things than are absolutely necessary. You understand it completely. This person understands it completely. So it's not like they're delusional about something here, like much of these questions are. I feel like doing the repair would be for the wrong reasons, to impress people who I don't know or don't care about, right? Since damage doesn't make me happy, but it also doesn't really matter that much to me. Matters enough for you to write this, write all this, and maybe you're just mad that it happened to you because a kid did a dumb thing and backed into you. So, I mean, that does happen. I also feel like there's a chance that because the officer didn't take a report and therefore didn't make a finding or fault, that somehow going through this kid's insurance will impact my insurance rates. It could, you don't know, which I'd be beyond mad about, of course. I just don't know enough about car insurance to know if that's a real risk. It is, absolutely. You don't know what is going to happen when you go down that road. What would you do? What would Dave do? I think not worry about it. What would George do? I don't know. I couldn't say specifically about what Dave would do, but it's not a need. But you're you're on baby steps 4 and 6 where you can do not need things. So if it was that important to you to get it fixed, you would just pay for it yourself to get it fixed. If it's not important enough for you to pay for it, then that's maybe when you let it go. But I don't know what Dave or George would say about that. Maybe that. Pocket the money and enter the beater phase of the car's life. Let it go. Okay, well, the beater in quotes phase, that's some, what's that called? That's going to an extreme at that point. When it has some minor cosmetic damage and it's in the beater phase now. So yeah, you're definitely all about this. It's definitely in your head. So don't, this, but it also doesn't really matter that much to me. If it didn't matter that much to you, you wouldn't have typed all these letters. You wouldn't have typed it about there. Either pay out of pocket or live with the thing. Yeah, and you're still talking about paying out of pocket as well. So that sounds like it does mean something to you. And so that's up to you what to do with it. But yeah, it could go either way if you try to do claim with the insurance. Forsaken Pudding 822. Should I pay off a new, to me, van? Yes, you shouldn't have a loan on it anyway. I'll try to be brief, and that didn't happen. So let's go ahead and open the rest of it. Wife and I just had our first child, so while we've been working on paying off debt, so that doesn't matter. I mean, the kid, so you have child expenses on top. That doesn't change anything. I took Dave's advice to someone on his show. I heard once to stockpile cash first to prepare for the newborn and then resume debt payoff afterward. Yes. I have about $10K in credit card debt, $30K on 2 vehicles, and $19K in student loan debt. We gross about $95K to $100K a year in Ohio, OH. Shout out Midwest. Necessity expenses run just shy of $4K a month, $1,100 mortgage, $720 on the CAS, $850 for healthcare being the biggest expense. Healthcare do take a bite, don't she? Maybe we should get government involved in that. We make about $5,500 to $5,800 after taxes per month, $20K in cash savings, $25K total in our 401ks. We'd like to get a minivan, 2014 to 16 Honda Odyssey X or XL. Got the whole thing figured out, the model even figured out, in the 13 to 16K range. And one of the vehicles we owe less than it's worth by probably... We'd like to get a minivan. And one of our vehicles we owe less than it's worth by probably 3 to 4K. Owe 11K, kind of Blue Book values, trade-in at about 15K. Well, you wouldn't do trade-in for that, sir. You would sell it private sale. So the dealer doesn't get that money, you get all the money for it. Would it be wise to trade in this vehicle? No. You would sell it and then buy in separate deals. Use leftover trade and value cash and then withdraw cash to then pay off the van immediately. Well, you're just buying it if you're using cash. You're not You don't get a loan and then pay it off immediately. You don't do that. It'll relieve $330 a month in payments as well. Yeah. So, okay. So apologies about the bringing up the newborn, because that explains why you have the cash laying around. And does it say how much cash? 20K in cash savings. Okay, 20K. That's why they have 20K in cash savings. Is that above the emergency fund? So emergency fund stays. But I mean, if you have card debt and so forth already, so that would get rid of some of it, but also you're moving up in vehicle as well, all at the same time. And so whatever car that it is, that is only worth 3 to 4K, if it's running, the newborn will fit in that vehicle. You do not all of a sudden need a Honda Odyssey X because you have a newborn. That is not a rule. People lose their minds when they have a child or for any other reason, and they think, oh, well, you gotta spend this much money on something if this happens. And so you don't need to do that. Obviously, my plan is to then attack credit card debt next. But while in the middle of it, it'd be sweet to knock off this car loan without really having to budget for it. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I'm sure you worked it all out and it's great in your head and stuff like that. It's just not, you don't need it. You do not need to do that. Just pay off your freaking debts fast. With all that money, do some computations on that and work on that computation as to how that works out. Paying it off will also relieve the $330 a month in payments. Boom. Since I just used the trade-in, my savings to do this. Yeah, savings should be used to debt you already have, not new debt or new purchases. Also, this isn't something I'll be considering seriously for 2 to 3 months. I tend to be slow to make these decisions. LOL, looking for help and perhaps critique. Well, you got it. You got it. Just because you have a little baby, you don't need to get a minivan for the one infant. One infant can fit in a compact car quite successfully. My kids did. They're both alive. Both adults now. Superb Advisor 7885. Is there anyone who uses cash value life insurance here? I'm sure there is. On the Reddit at all, in this subreddit even, I'm sure there is. Dave hates it, and I know most of this sub thinks it's a waste, but I have had very good results from my policy. You haven't made as much as you could by investing the money yourself. And you don't get if you die, it pays the death benefit, but you don't get to keep that investment. They keep that investment. So you're just wrong about that. People are dumb. They don't understand things. ESCINKC62. Esyncs. I have no idea. MYGA, what is that? My financial advisor is attempting to sell a multi-year guaranteed annuity. No annuities, no. She trusts him and does whatever he suggests. I told her that was a bad idea. Yep, but she may be moving forward on it soon. Nothing you can do about it. 80 is an adult. She is on a fixed income of less than 2K per month and has a total of $150,000 in liquid assets. I mean, barely need a financial advisor for that. I mean, that you just have to live on your less than you make, a lot less. She owns her $200,000 home outright for now. Maybe not when that financial advisor gets done with her. And it is a 60-year-old house that is in decent shape. She has some credit card debt, but hasn't told me how much. Yeah, so the annuity is a single. Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. No for me. No annuities. Spiritual Truck 5099 20 from the bloody UK. Should I do baby step 2 before 1? Hi all. Hi guys. I'm trying to get started with the baby steps. Well, not very well if you're trying to do 2 before 1. But I'm 20. I have apprenticeship in construction management and earn roughly £1,700 a month at the moment. I have 0 people who rely on me financially and believe I would be better off paying all my debts. First, £1,200 credit card, £300 other debt. Rather than starting emergency fund, which would you go for in my situation? Then the $1,000 should cover any of your emergencies, since it's just you and you're single, and so forth. And so, yeah, you would still do £1,000 across the pond in the UK. You would do that as step 1. Do not try, you don't need, the steps have been proven, millions of documented cases of success stories. It has been proven already. You don't need to improve it or think, oh, well, this will be a better way for me to do it. You don't need to do that. And also, if you do think that, just do it. You don't have to run it by Reddit. You don't have to run it by the Dave Ramsey subreddit. Why would you even expect to have any other advice in here? But you do get anti-Dave advice in here. For sure. So, but why? Why bother? If there's something you want to do, you can just do it without running it by me or anybody else. The power of this Foodle with a 00 and a 3 there. The power of being debt-free and avoiding stacking debt. And now I know we stack cash. What's this stacking debt crap? I just wanted to post this because this is an interesting observation I have. Both me and my wife, that's my wife and I, are earning less than 6 figures and have ever since we were married. So we're not richies by any stretch of the imagination, okay? However, with our income, we made it a pact to become debt-free and pay off the mortgage aggress, even if the 3.8% loan would have been better invested. That's great. That's what the baby steps say to do. Good job. I find it interesting how family and friends who bring 6-figure salaries in and have master's degrees right now are complaining that housing is completely unaffordable. Yeah, they're doing it wrong. You're doing it right. Multiple relatives I know are still opening the next part. Multiple relatives I know are still living with parents or renting at this time. My goodness. Even with higher joint or even single income than our joint income, okay? You would think they teach you basic rules of how mortgage payments impact your spending money. But apparently it seems today's generation thinks that a mortgage is good and it's not their fault. It's the geopolitical environment. It's not just today's generation, dog. You got people all ages that think that. They just want to invest and gripe about houses being too expensive. Yes. They just want to gripe in general. Everybody, every age group. I'm not saying housing isn't expensive. It is. Yes, it is. But you have to think 10 years out. You can't be stuck in the mindset of I can take on more debt because I can afford it and just invest instead of paying that debt off. It's real, but then you got investing, which is going up, and then you got your interest too, which is also going up. So that is not. It's not a you're not being debt free. You have a total where everything is going up. Because you don't have any debt, and that's the reason behind it. It's really going to start hurting people if this continues. Yeah, I mean, that's been the case forever, and it has been, and it still will be. And most people aren't going to take this advice. I mean, that much is certain. The ones that do, those of us that do, are the weird ones, yes. Are the normal ones. A lot of people think way too much, overthink it, way too much about it. Says, oh well, if everybody paid off debt, then that would ruin the economy, because then credit cards and blah 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 and loans and blah 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 blah, and you don't have to worry about that, because again, the people following this advice are going to be the minority. If this continues, they'll start teaching that investing is not 100% going to dig you out of a debt hole. If you have other debts stacking up on top of debts that are low interest, right? And that is what most financial advisors teach, like the other ones that are on YouTube or have any kind of show or anything like that. They all do debt leverage. So, and they think it's smart. So now granted, they are catering to, again, more of the target audience than, Dave's target audience, he has a big target audience, but a lot of that target audience is people that aren't going to follow his advice just because it's harder and they have to sacrifice and they do exactly what they want to do now by investing, or they can't do their little math where they come out 0.5% ahead if they invest instead of pay off the mortgage. So that happens. Lolutot. Don't know what that is. Keep my current car, get a cheaper one. Turn between wants and needs right now. Well, if you're in baby step 1, 2, or 3, there's no wants. There's no wants. I have a car that frankly is more than I'd like to be loaned on at $49K. Nope, get a cheaper one. It's a very reliable car and I do enjoy it, but sometimes feel guilty for having such a big loan. I can definitely afford, right? Affording the payments doesn't mean you can afford the item. Can afford it, but sometimes I feel irresponsible as I could be throwing that money to building wealth. Absolutely. Thinking about getting out of it and buying a car in cash. That would be the advice. Obviously, you won't love the cheap car as much. That's right, but you will love not making the car payments. Curiously, if any of you have done something similar and if it was worth it to you, life's too short. Drive what you want. Is there more stuff after that? Yeah. Life's too short. Drive what you want. It's not that short. It's not that short that your decision on that doesn't affect you for years down the road. So it's not that, it's short, but it's not that short. Or to be smart is the question, right? So that, again, you're putting it in the perfect 2 categories, basically. Life's too short, drive what you want, or be smart is the question. You said it yourself right there. The other one is not being smart. Personal finance position, 160K plus household income, 45K-ish debt, not including car in question. Yeah, you got other debts to pay off as well. It's not just that car. Have $3,200 left over each month after bills paid. Yep, sell the car. That means you will have even more than $3,200 left over to apply to the debt snowball and get rid of that other debt. And then you can get the full emergency fund, and then you start investing. Hopefully, if you have stopped, if you were doing it already. And then after you do investing, somewhere around in there, then maybe you can go up to a nicer car again. At that point that you pay cash for. Cash on the Barrelhead. Rebel Moon Part 2. I never did watch the first one. The scuttlebutt on it was not that good. Oh, let's see. Fun Entertainer, 4210. Just transition to baby step 3B and 4. Okay. This is also a question about baby step 3B. Well, you had that in the title, so I assumed. I have posted previously here about how I paid off my 20K in student loans at the beginning of the year, but now I'm into moving baby step 4/3B. And those can happen at the same time. That's when the happening at the same time happens. Steps 1, 2, and 3, you do in order, one at a time. That's a $1,000 emergency fund. And then next step is pay off all debts, smallest to largest. And then step 3 is you grow that $1,000 savings into 3 to 6 months of your living expenses into your fully funded emergency fund. And you do those one at a time, and you do not move to 4, 5, and 6 until step 3 is completely done. But no. My expenses are about $2,500 a month, and I have a $10K emergency fund and about $5K car fund. Okay, so as far as the car, I don't know if that's for a new car or for maintenance expenses, new tires, something like that. So the 10K emergency fund, so before you even start saving the down payment, you should have a 6 month. And that's not necessarily anything Dave says. I don't know. I don't think you would have a problem with it, but that's just, you just have too much that can go wrong with a house when you have to do the things to it. Even if you have insurance, there could be like some kind of, deductible or some money that you have to do out of pocket on it. So that's why you do need the 6 months of emergency fund before you even start doing the down payment. I was terrified I'd need another car. I have major repairs when it came time to update my license plate in June. Does that mean you have to have a inspection for that? Otherwise, just getting the license plate doesn't mean you're subject to somebody checking out your vehicle. Unless you have to get inspections where you live. So I had been planning to save up a 10K car fund as part of baby step 3, but just got it inspected. Okay, yeah, while there's some minor issues, and nothing that makes me need to. So yeah, you can decide to move that 5K car fund into, I would do emergency fund and make sure that emergency fund is good for 6 months of expenses before you buy the house. And that 10K emergency fund should also include 6 months of expenses, including any difference between the rent and what you think your mortgage will be as well. Just got so you don't need that anymore. So you can certainly put that 5K elsewhere, either probably in the emergency fund, and then if there's any left over of that 5K, then you could run that and start the full emergency fund. Because at 10K, this person's expenses may be very low, and so this could be 6 months. But I got a feeling it's not, and that would go into most people's thoughts on it, because they're not trying to save for a long time. They want to get a house right now, because wanting a house right now as soon as possible is, I think, what most people want. And not, okay, well, first I'm going to do is make sure I have a 6 month emergency fund, then I'm going to get a large down payment, and then I'm going to get it. People don't think like that in general. So, but you can move the 5K into that, and hopefully you do have the 6 month already, but make sure that includes what the mortgage payment will be and not what your current rent payment is. Random account 12,580, okay? Is traffic citation or emergency fund worthy? In what way? Hey y'all. Hi guys. I'm currently on baby step 2. I just paid off a few credit cards. Then of course got a reckless speeding ticket. Okay. On a rented motorcycle. I know. Totally my fault. Yep. Stupid tax. Anyway, I paid off the credit cards. I don't the money to pay off the cost of attorney. I don't have the money to pay out the cost of returning fee of $754. So I put it on my credit card, okay? And you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. So if you're at fault, you don't need to pay a guy $754 to say that you're at fault. You could just say, I'm at fault instead. So unless he's going to save you $754, then that was wasted, especially since you put it on debt. Now you've done two dumb things. Reckless driving by speeding on a rented motorcycle and going further into debt, which that's baby step 0 is you do not take out any more debt. That debt is off the table once you decide to follow Mr. Ramsey's advice, which you're not doing. My question is, does this count as an emergency that I should use my $1,000 emergency savings for, then build back up? No, it's not, because it wasn't an emergency. Like I said, you didn't even need an attorney unless the attorney is going to be able to better call Saul you out of that. So, I mean, if the attorney gets you out of that, I guess it might be worth $754. But for him to just say, yeah, he's guilty, we like to plead guilty. That's a lot of money for saying we'd like to plead guilty. So, $1,000 emergency savings for, then build back up. Or should it just now consider this another credit card and pay it off as soon as possible? Pay it off as soon as possible. Don't go into the emergency fund, because it's not an emergency. It's just something stupid you did. This is now my smallest credit card debt, okay? And so you'd be paying it off first anyway. But yeah. Bad. All right. Ember 428, is there hope for interest rates? Of course there is. They'll be fine, don't worry. What do I do if there's not? My title is probably unclear. Well, clarify it then. Here's my situation. I have a substantial IRA, but I am not 59 and a half, so I can't draw from it without paying a penalty. Nor should you. You keep working until you're 59, and then you can take that out. How about that? I have about $6,000 in credit card debt. Okay, so you're on baby step 2, so that means at least maybe baby step 1. So you got to do the baby steps and start from the beginning. You don't keep contributing to retirement. 16 credit card debt, which I pay no interest on currently. Doesn't matter. I pay about $800 a month on it. I also have a Parent Plus loan that I pay monthly. My main question is about my HELOC, which is treated as my mortgage. When interest rates were very low, we refinanced and took out a variable rate HELOC. Although the loan product is a HELOC, as I said, it's basically our first mortgage. So you don't have another mortgage? If not, if you have a mortgage on the residence itself, then that is your first mortgage and you're full of it. I don't know what that means. It's basically our first mortgage. But if your house was paid off and then you took out a HELOC on it, then I guess it is like a first mortgage. But since it's a HELOC, that's baby step 2, especially if you can pay it off in 2 or 3 years. And there's nothing owed on the home, okay? Let's see what else. Nothing owed on the home, which is worth somewhere north of $300,000 in the current bubble. Now, of course, the interest rate is just under 8%. I discussed other loan products with several institutions last year, but I couldn't bring myself to pay the exorbitant fees they wanted, right? So quit moving the money around, pay it off. My financial advisor told me she felt very strongly that interest rates would start to come down after the first part of the 2024, but they have not. Imagine that, a financial advisor not being able to tell the future. Shocker. Is there anything I can do to get rid of this 8% interest rate? Yes, pay it off. Pay off your smaller debts first and then pay that off and stop doing dumb stuff. Like taking out HELOCs. NOPATH 8778, advise needed please. That would be advice with a C. Was looking for some advice as I don't know what else to do. My ex-partner has left with a 15 grand debt. I'm assuming has left you with the 15 grand debt. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a problem if he took it with him and was taking care of it. He was very controlling and coercive control. I'm now in prison on other charges for doing the same to other women. What? I was too scared to go to police as he is a very violent man. He is in prison now. I tried to get ombudsman, I think that's supposed to be, to help and explain everything, and they were helpful. I explained, I assumed that it was a joint account, which later wasn't. I was on so much medication at the time, which I should prove to them as I was diagnosed to. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, I don't know what to tell you about that. You need to get out of prison and get a job. And you can, you have to go through the court system and so forth. Let's see if there's anything else in here that I don't know that much about all that stuff. Diagnosed bipolar, ADHD, emotional personality disorder. I explained I never once went into the bank or made calls, but at the end they believe I made a call and they sent me the recording. And I said how it's not me on the call, and I couldn't understand how they don't see that because it doesn't matter. They're the ones in charge. My mental health is so bad regarding this, right? And so if you have mental problems, you may think it's you on the call and it might not be. So give them the benefit of the doubt on that. And that's why they might not trust you to say, oh yeah, that's me on the call. And I feel I can't move on with my life with this hanging over me. I was looking to see if I should contact bank directly. You can contact whoever you want to. If your name is on the account, then you're liable for it. So you're saying it's a joint account and then it's not? Well, you just saying, oh, he left and now it's not a joint account anymore. No, that's not how it works. You have to close that account. I mean, in order to close a debt account, though, you have to pay it off. So you may not be in a position to be able to do that. But like just a bank account, if on a joint account, either party can just go and withdraw the money and close it at any time. Pathetic 9,000 on step 4 and feel like we're doing well, but considering a house move, why? I'm in the UK. Greetings across the pond from the colonies here. So I've been following the steps, slightly amended to our locality, okay? Basically, the only difference would be retirement accounts are called something else, and the UK has more taxes, which we have plenty here. Can't imagine more. 37 female, and my husband is 42M. Combined, we earn 115K, which is probably not great for the US, but is decent here. It's decent here too. You can't live in California with that. We've worked hard to completely eliminate all our debt, great, including student loans, and are currently just left with our mortgage. Fabulous. After mortgage bills and savings, we now have quite a lot of disposable income, which is new and most welcome. Now my dilemma. We bought our house 11 years ago on a 25-year mortgage and have a great interest rate currently fixed for a further 3 years. And why all of a sudden, what is happening that makes you, oh, we got to upgrade in house just because you have extra money is not a good reason to do that. Got to be a better reason than just, oh, well, we have extra money now. Boom, 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 boom. When we purchased the house, we knew it would be a starter and that we would be looking to upgrade in the future. Yeah, but you also had debt and all that other stuff, and now you're supposed to be thinking about money differently. But maybe they're not. We've made significant improvements to the property. Why, if you're not going to stay there? Everything you're doing here is bad. At the time of, except the paying off the debt. That was great. That was a great part. At the time of purchase, we both worked on site in an office. We then got jobs that enabled some home working, so we converted our box room to a shared office. So much. Since the pandemic, we are now both 100% home based, though, and space is a real difficulty. My husband uses the office since he needs multiple screens, which has left me with a shonky bedroom setup. So because you work from home, you think you need a whole different room for your office. You can't set it up somewhere nice. You don't have room to set it up somewhere nice. Since the house is small, we often disturb/distract each other with noise, and it's just not optional, ... or professional. Why are you even asking? Why not just do it? The reason people ask, I think they want validation because they know it's wrong, or they want somebody to tell them what they know is wrong. They want somebody to tell them it's not wrong. The kitchen is also too small to accommodate all appliances. We would ideally want storage is very difficult throughout, and we keep our bikes at a relative's house. This is one of our main hobbies, so kind of annoying. I really feel like we should be looking to me. I feel like, for me, we should be looking to move to a slightly bigger home due to accommodate office space for two. It only has to be slightly bigger to have an additional office room and also a bigger kitchen. That sounds a little bit more than slightly bigger to me. She's walking it back to make it not sound so bad, I think. My husband feels like we should put up with it, yes, because we're now in a good position to pay off our mortgage early. So husband is thinking differently about money now, but you are not still. So the idea is that you are thinking different about money now. That's why you paid off all your debt. Because of that. It doesn't end with the debt payoff. It doesn't end with having the full emergency fund. It doesn't end with starting to invest. It continues into not moving for when it's not necessary. So, I mean, you could move up in-house, but it sounds like you just got out of debt. And so trying to do it immediately is more the problem than doing it eventually. Let's see. So let's see. We're in a good position to pay off our mortgage early and only look to move when that's done, approximately 5 years. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Plus, he thinks we can start to enjoy our excess income a little more instead of being saddled with our larger mortgage payment again. Yeah, I can see his logic certainly and don't totally disagree, but enough to write here on Reddit though. But I feel this is becoming more detrimental to our standard of living than increasing the mortgage payment. For what it's worth, I am only looking at reasonable properties, no mansions. Sure, reasonable is subjective, and so I'm sure you're looking at nicer ones than I would approve for you. And the profit we should make on this sale would allow us to put a significant down payment even after paying off existing mortgage. On this basis, I can't envisage our monthly payment. Maybe they say that instead of envision there. Increasing so significantly. Well, do the math and then you'll know for sure. Do the math on what those properties cost minus what you, of course, minus what you can put as a down payment with selling your current house. On this basis, I did that already. Can envisage your monthly payments increasing so significantly. I'm also happy to wait for interest rates, mortgage market to level somewhat, but 5 years feels too long to put up with a bad working space and cramped conditions. Guess what? The market may not ever level somewhat. So what then? Any thoughts appreciated? Yeah, I've been giving them to you. So without looking at any of the rest of it, and that you shouldn't be right after paying off debt and have a full emergency fund, You shouldn't be looking to upgrade house immediately. You're not supposed to be looking for, oh, where can I find something to spend my money on? Where, you're not doing that anymore. We're not trying to do that. I understand the reasons. I understand that it might be a little cramped in there, but there's no other rooms. So if you don't have kids, you could be in the living room and do a nice setup for office in there. This is my living room. And there's plenty of room to do what I want to do with it. Granted, don't live with anybody, so there's no like extra noise or whatever. That's different. What else did I want to say about this? Okay, so if you take everything out about it, take the Ramsey advice out of it even. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, take that out of it even. The problem is not us on Reddit that are reading this. The problem is your husband feels like you should put up with it. And he doesn't want to be paying no more mortgage or a higher mortgage. He wants to be done with that mortgage in 5 years and then go from there. And so the problem is what you need to do is just, it's the 3 C's for marriage. It's communicate, and that doesn't mean communicate on Reddit. That means talk to him about it. Compromise, which means if he's thinking about 5 years, maybe you do it in 2.5 years instead. And that would be a compromise. And so if it's so bad that you can't communicate and compromise, then you need to do the 3rd C, which is counseling. So that's what's going on here. So, I mean, maybe, you never know. Maybe he's an easygoing guy, and it's not like that you're so far on opposite ends of the spectrum here, but this is exact opposites of what to do. He wants to stay there for 5 years and get that mortgage paid off, and you want to move right now. And so the compromise on that would seem to be like, well, we'll move in 2.5 years then. So, I mean, you can wiggle around, and you can, put other things on it in the compromise. You can include other things for both parties. And the best compromise, neither one will be completely happy. And so that's what you want. But that way you do get to keep the marriage together as well. Oh, let's see. ITISJ. It is J. Texas and South Carolina financial literacy requirement for high school graduate. Dave hashtag mentioned in his show a few days ago that the 2 states will now begin to mandate financial literacy before high school graduate. Excellent. Does anyone know the source of this? I tried to search it, but can't seem to confirm this. No, I don't know. I'm sure he found it somewhere. I'm sure he didn't just make it up. Dear Hornet 2524, 15% retirement or more. Hi all, is 15% the golden number for retirement contributions? Should have put more in if it's a taxed advantage account. The if part doesn't matter. If even. Should I do this if? Should I do this if? Should I do this if? No, the only reason you should put more than 15% is if, this is the only condition, is if you are in baby step 7 because your mortgage is paid off or because you never had one and you're still renting, so you're in baby step 7. If you're in baby step 7, that's when you can do more than 15%. But otherwise, you're leveraging the debt, leveraging the mortgage to invest, and that's a no-no for Mr. Ramsey. Alrighty. Go ahead and open this one. Roomink B, what to do? What we want to do is open the link. Oh, I opened a new window. My bad. That'll still work though. What to do? Oh, no, it won't. No, that's not gonna work. There we go. Because you guys won't see that window because that window is not selected in the Open link in new tab. There we go. Not selected in the streaming software. What to do? Baby step 2, flare. So long story short, I'm losing my job come July 1st. My contract is ending. Have another job potential lined up, but shall see. As of now, I'm getting normal paychecks and will receive all of my leave paid out. Excellent. I think after taxes, it's going to be like $7 grand or so. Okay. Question is, what should I do with it? New tires for my wife and I, 1.5 to 2 grand. New windshield, 5 grand of credit card debt. Curious how I should tackle this. Wife and I are on baby step 2. If the windshield isn't gonna break at any time, like completely, if it's just a small dot in it, and if the tires are not bald, then you would put everything on your debt. Now, July 1st, so you still have some time, so you can be completely debt-free. And then after that, then you can put all the money you were putting on your debt, then you can declare it emergency mode and then just stack cash until you get a different job. Yeah, that's the answer on that one. Aggressive foot 3613. Marrying up financially, way up. That's approved, sure. Or maybe a better title would be how to handle it. Yeah, well, I mean, when you marry, whatever they have is what you have too. Whatever their income is, you have that too. So, I mean, you definitely need to show appreciation for that fact, but that you won the marrying lottery. You know, you have to, it's a fine line where you have to be cognizant of that. The only reason that you have part of this money, or that you have this money together, is because of the person that you're marrying, and hopefully you would be marrying her even if she wasn't up financially from you, and so you do have to have that, like, both going on. You have to embrace that it's true. Reality is a great thing to embrace, I always say, especially when people start getting too out there with the financial theory. I'm like, well, okay, well, this is the way it actually is. How about we embrace this until it changes? So, but marrying up financially, yeah. So you gotta respect it. Obviously, you respect your fiance. But then you just have to accept it. That's the fact. And now this is part your money, part your stuff, whatever it is. Let's see. I'm paying stupidity tax on a previous relationship, and I will be on baby step 2 for about 3 more years. My girlfriend, who I live with, doing that wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. And gladly pay rent, is debt free, and has $1 million plus net worth. She also introduced me to the Total Money Makeover. Excellent. I knew I liked this girl. I knew I liked her for some reason. And it wasn't the 1 million. We come from different backgrounds, and she spent years socking away money while I was overspending my money on a relationship. Yep, I mistakenly thought that was good for me. Yep. Now, who hasn't done that, really? Long story short, it wasn't. We are both in our mid-50s. We work in different fields. Out here in the fields, we fight for our meals. Work in different fields, and our incomes are very different. Her end-of-year bonus is very close to my AGI. Oh, adjusted gross income is what that stands for. Just did taxes. Oh, tax day coming up. Is that tomorrow? Sometimes they move it to like the 17th or something like that. It might be tomorrow. Happy tax day, everybody. We're working different fields, and our incomes are very different. I did that already. While we don't match up financially, well, you do now if you're going to follow Dave's advice. We are very happy together. Most of our free time activities are outdoors and do not require money. I am all in on beans and rice for myself, and I do everything I can to contribute to groceries, entertainment, etc. I would contribute more, all if I was able. I've taken on extra jobs at work, great, and doing what I can to end this debt nightmare as soon as possible. Next step is to max out my own deferred compensation accounts. After paying off the debt and having full emergency fund, yes. When we retire, maybe in 10 years or so, I will have a pretty decent pension and health insurance and shoe over for 10K. Maybe that's for one for Richie's. No, probably just mistyped 401k. At that point, our incomes will be more evenly matched. But our take-home pay, you got to stop. You got to stop comparing it. You got to be cognizant of it. You have to respect it. But you have to stop saying hers and mine and mine are, and you don't stop that yet because you are not married, and so you should not even be living together. I know I don't deserve her, but I also know I want to marry her after I'm debt free, of course. Why? Why wait? If you want to marry her, she wants to marry you, get married. And then if she has cash laying around, that becomes our cash, and then that goes to paying off the debt. Then guess what? Unfortunately, even though she has a net worth of $1 million, then she's on step 2 again. Lucky her. The problem is I feel out of sorts not being the breadwinner. Yep, you got to deal with it. I know it's old-fashioned thinking, but I have been the main provider in every single relationship up until this one. Yeah, we've talked about this, and she was okay with it, but I constantly feel guilty just thinking about it, like I'm not doing my fair share, and that's you. And so if you can't get over that, you may need some counseling to help you with that, to get over it. But I mean, that's the situation. The only way to get away from this is to not be her boyfriend and not get married. If you're gonna still plan on doing that, then you need to get fine with it so you don't feel guilty about it. Any advice for getting over this feeling so we can peacefully build what's left of our lives together? Just what I said. You just have to accept it. If you want to marry her more than, I mean, what's bothering you more? What would bother you more? Not marrying her or your guilty feeling? And so then, you may just have to deal with it and accept that as too, because that is the reality that you feel guilty. And you just try, you can just do like what you're doing now. You're taking on extra jobs at work and so forth. And if you continue to do that, then, you're doing your fair share. And at this moment, she's not even paying off your debt with her money that will be yours if you get married. So I would say, if you have known her for a while now, and it doesn't say how long you met her. If you'd met her a week ago, then no, it's not time to get married yet. It's definitely not time to move in yet either. So, but if both of you know you want to get married, there's no need to wait until you are debt free. Now, granted, she may have a different opinion of that. She may want you to be debt free before that. And she's the one that gets to decide that, but that shouldn't be involved in it. And so, because she might be able to take, does he say how much it is already? 3 more years, though, even with extra jobs and stuff. So it might be fairly significant debt, but she also may have that in a savings account somewhere. And they could make it go away immediately. But if she wants you to prove yourself by doing it first, then you got to do it first. But then I don't know why live with you. And also, if you guys are living together and she's used to living a certain way, and then you want to do your fair share, you're actually having more expenses and making your debt payoff take longer. And so you got to think about that as well. So yeah, not an easy situation. And again, don't live together. If you want to live together, go ahead and get married. If you've known each other for a long time, if you've just met very recently, shouldn't be living together. Shouldn't be saying, "Oh, we want to get married," and all that. So, but yeah, I mean, I understand it. I'm logical, and that helps me, stops me in some cases, not all, but some cases, to not be like so into the emotional side of things. I do try to put that away when necessary, like when the emotional side of it does not help and does not change anything. I can like kind of put that away for the most part, not on everything, obviously, but it's just the way of thinking about it. And again, that depends on both of you. And so for this, you need to talk about it. And so, but that's what I would recommend if you've known each other for years already. And you've been boyfriend, girlfriend for at least 6 months, if not longer, and you both know you want to get married, then talk about it. And if she agrees to marry you, then she's agreeing that that debt is hers, and she's in baby step 2 until it is paid off. And more likely than not, she may be able to pay it off that same day. And then you continue to go over and aboard as above and beyond, and in your like working and so forth, and your any other kind of things you do that contributes to the marriage or the wealth or anything like that. Fast Fig 4245, pension/Roth, baby step 4. The department I work for has a pension plan that pulls 11% out of my check to fund my part of the pension. Would I just complete my 15% by putting 4% into my Roth, or what is the right way to go about this? I don't need the extra info. So unfortunately for you, the 11%, that pension is not going to make as much as the market does. And so you count that 11% as half of it, which is only 5.5%. So you have to put 10.5% into your Roth instead. And so that, that kind of, I understand why you might not know that, but that's the way it goes. Pension plans do not make as much money as the market, and so therefore you only count it per half. I'm not making this up. This is per Dave Ramsey. So 5.5% of your pension is what counts towards the 15%. So 10.5% is what you would be putting in the Roth. Extra info that probably doesn't change the answer. 25 man who by the time retirement comes around, I'll have 33 years vested in my career, which I gain 2.5% per year for my pension, and it still only counts as half. So for the 15%, that's only 1.25. Step better than nothing, obviously, better than nothing, and it does go up every year, so great. My pension is based off my top 3 years average pay. I should be retiring with about 82.5% of my top 3. In my department, I am eligible for retirement at 57 years of age. Okay, great. Again, all of your percentages you're doing there, you have to whap those in half, because the pension does not make as much as the market does. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for another episode of Answering Your Financial Questions Live with Coach Steve Money. Once again, let's run those plugs. And that would be that I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. Links in the description as well as in the ticker that's been going by. And right there in front of your face there on the lovely graphic. And you can schedule that financial consultation. I already said that at consultation at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere in the world. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the Cash App, $CoachSteveMoney, like it says on the ticker right there. Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, answering your financial questions. Again, that is Saturdays and Sundays, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, the Ramsey Show After Show will be happening on April 18th. That is a Thursday, right after the Ramsey Show video on YouTube ends. You can have me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. Of course, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And if you've done those things already, thank you so very much. Much, much appreciated. Always forget to go back to here and say, make smart financial decisions. Whoops. Always forget to get rid of that too. Make smart financial decisions every day.